This darling child's antique coat was part of Martha's collection, and I will explain that in the description. This is a wonderful example of how women's fashion at the time translated into children's fashion, as in the 1890s, huge sleeves were all the rage. And this is quite the example of that. It's made out of cotton with two different weights, kind of a heavier weight for the main body, and then a lighter batiste for the huge cape collar that is trimmed in lace. And as you can see here, this was really oxidized, heavily stained, and then in that batiste sort of ruffle, there was some severe damage with some holes in it. But I just thought this was incredible and worth the effort to try to fix it. So I started off with removing the mother of pearl buttons, and I'm going to try knocking off about 100 years of dust with some retro wash, throwing in a little bit of Dawn, and then also some washing soda. This has kind of been my go-to lately, of adding also the Dawn and the washing soda along with the retro wash. So in it goes. I'm doing a pretty warm temperature. This is cotton, and you'll see later I really crank up the temperature. But after an hour, look at that water. That is pretty brown. So that obviously, this is like 130 years old. So yeah, it deserves to be dirty. So down that goes. And now I've been experimenting with doing things on the stovetop. Using hot water is not recommended for a lot of fabrics that are vintage, but for something like this, it's just not going to get clean with cold water. So I try to come up with different ways to be able to maintain a temperature. I've used crock pots. I've used the immersion circulator, heated circulator. I do a tub in a tub and keep water on the outside. I've done things in a cooler. But the last couple projects I've done in a large stock pot on top of the stove. I'm still toying around with trying to get the temperature right. And here I think I used too much Dawn. There was a lot of bubbles. So long story short, I did a big soak and it immediately started to brighten. But those dark spots definitely need more work. So one by one, and this is what takes time, is I do that Dawn peroxide solution with the baking soda on top, and then I just let it sit in the pot, in the water, and then work on each stain one at a time. So I kind of let it sit for an hour, kind of dunk it in, move it around, find the next one. And then I did this for quite a few hours, and it was time for bed. So I just turned off the heat, covered it up, and then the next morning I checked, and the temperature was actually, like 88 degrees Fahrenheit the next morning. I was surprised how warm it stayed. So I'm going to call it good. I figured this poor girl has been through enough and she looks good. So obviously there's a lot of rinsing that needs to happen because there was a lot of soap and, a lot of Dawn in there and the baking soda, etc. So rinse it well. I'm going to towel roll it. And then I put some inside out plastic bags, which is inside out so that you don't get any of the ink from the bag onto the sleeve. So I put the plastic bags inside it to kind of help support that as it was drying. So now I'm going to work on all those tears and holes in that cotton batiste kind of ruffle. So what I find works well for this situation, and the fact that it is gathered like a ruffle, is I'm basically just making little teeny tiny seams or kind of darts or tucks so that it just kind of looks like the gathers you'll see when you see it from the outside, as if it was just kind of pressed in place like that. So the holes kind of go away and it just kind of looks like little tucks from the gathers. And then, so here is a before of that and an after. So of course it's not perfect, but it's definitely better. So that topmost button had completely torn off. So I did a repair on that, and I'm adding some cotton twill tape to the back to kind of support where those buttons are going to go. And the button did a pretty good job of covering that repair. So this took me quite a while to press this, but it was well worth it. And here I just wanted to quickly show this construction. It's a balloon sleeve and it has twill tape. It's a sleeve inside a sleeve to be able to attain that shape. So here, here it is. This, to me, is so amazing. It is just something that will never be again. I mean, they say, fashions repeat themselves, but obviously this was from towards the end of the Gilded Age of fashion. And it's just an incredible to think that this was for a child. And obviously it was worn quite a bit. So it was, obviously a status thing. And I mean, look at the lace on that back. This is just amazing to me. And I feel it was worth every bit of effort I put into it. I think this is amazing. It would be wonderful for somebody to display this in a museum somewhere, but it could be worn even though it's 130 years old. Thank you for watching.